Hi, these comments are for STA. I am Michael from BetterTOEFLScores.com, also OnlineTOEFLCourse.com. Thank you for completing your TOEFL Independent Speaking Practice Test. Let's take a look at the email that you sent me. You say, "Hi, Michael. Please listen to evaluate score and provide feedback on my independent speaking practice number 4. So what time do you prefer to take classes in the morning, afternoon, or evening?" Now, I also have the actual independent speaking rubrics here. So let's see how you did on this one.
I would choose morning classes for two main reasons. First, waking up in the morning activates brain cells efficiently and which leads to retain the content faster. From my experience, I still remember my BGT collector derivations even today, which I learned in my 4th semester as the first class in the morning. And I got full marks on the test based on the derivations next day without even preparing for it.
Good example.
In addition to this, waking up in the morning for classes forced me to go to bed early and thus scheduling my whole day accordingly. This helps me for maintaining a life cycle, so I would stick on to my morning classes.
Okay, so I think it's very well organized and you seem to have pretty good control of your language use. The big concern I'm having in the 3 area is your pronunciation problems may require listener effort at times, right? So even I have to listen to it again to make sure I understand what you said correctly. So let's listen one more time. So I think that's the biggest issue. I'm going to put you at about 3 right now. 3.0 out of 4, 23 points out of 30 on this
I
practice
would
test.
choose morning classes for two main reasons. First, waking up in the morning activates brain cells efficiently and which leads to retain the content faster.
I wouldn't say "and which leads," just say which leads to maintaining the concepts faster or learning the concepts faster. So there's no need to use and then which. Just use which as the adjective clause to comment on the previous idea.
From my experience, I still remember my BGT collector derivations even
You still remember what? This is where I'm having trouble right here.
in the morning activates brain cells efficiently and which leads to retain the content faster.
Okay.
From my experience, I still remember my BGT collector derivations even today.
Yeah, I didn't get everything that you said there, and that goes to it may require listener effort at times. Most of what you're saying is fine, but there's a few words in there I'm just not exactly sure what you're saying.
Which I learned in my 4th semester as the first class in the morning.
I would say which were learned, not which are learned. I think you're talking about an example in the past. Therefore, use past tense verb forms to convey that idea.
And I got full marks on the test based on the derivations next day without even preparing for it. In addition to this, waking up in the morning for classes forced me to go to bed early.
I would say forces me to. So we have what's called grammatical word endings and syllable division. So sometimes, like in this case, force changes to forces when you put the S on it. You can learn more about that by going to syllable division and grammatical word endings. You'll see that in the pronunciation part of my course.
And thus scheduling my whole day accordingly.
And what?
In addition to this, waking up in the
I got to check your language use
morning
here.
for classes forced me to go to bed early and thus scheduling my whole day accordingly.
Thus scheduling my whole day accordingly. Right? So you don't have to say "and thus," just say comma, thus scheduling, use the participial phrase there, and that's going to be good syntactic variety. So you don't have 100% control over your language use, and that's why you put those ands in there sometimes when they're not needed, because you're not exactly sure of the grammar structure and how to do that.
This helps me for maintaining a life cycle, so I would stick on to my morning classes.
I would say, I always prefer to attend classes in the morning. You might say it's something like that. Okay, so what do we have? Let's take a look at the rubrics. I think that my comments are pretty spot on. However, I'm going to go slightly below 3. I think listener effort is needed. You have sometimes meaning is obscured in places, right? So listener effort is needed, but in some cases I cannot understand what you're saying. So that to me separates it from a 2 to a 3, is some words that you say I don't actually know what they are or what you're trying to say. I think you have some limitations with your grammar and your vocabulary also. Your examples are stellar, very, very strong. They support the argument you're trying to make. I don't have any problems with that at all. Okay, so on this one, I'm going to put you between 2.5 and 3. I'm going to say 20 to 21 points out of 30 on this practice test.